Hey Eagles, Miss Flathers coming to you from my backyard. We've got a ukulele lesson for this week and talking about all the parts and pieces that make it work, put it together, and we're going to construct it and work on the vocabulary. Great time. This is a ukulele or ukulele coming from Hawaii. It's a small instrument. You see there's 4 strings, and we've already talked quite a bit about the principles of a stringed instrument. We know we need to have a string. We need to pull it tight for it to be able to vibrate and create the vibrations in the air that get into our ear and say, oh, that's a pitch, I can recognize that. And then we need some way to build up that sound, to amplify it. So string, tension, amplification. Those are the things we've talked about already. So we're all set to be working with ukulele. Let's go ahead and start with some of the vocabulary. We've talked about this in some classes, but it's always a good review. 3 big pieces. We've got the top of it is called the head, just like our head's the top of us. The head is the top of the ukulele. And it's also known as the headstock. Like the piece of wood that it comes from is called the stock. So head or headstock. Below the head, of course, is the neck. The neck supports the head, right? And the neck is also what is stretching out our strings, providing that length. And lately, the body. So head, neck, and body are our big details. Going from the head down, we'll look at the small details. So there are 4 tuners or tuning pegs here. They stick out like ears from the head, and they're here to get that tension on the string worked up. Right below the head is something we have not mentioned in class. It's called a nut. The nut is just a little grooved piece of plastic that keeps the strings aligned a good distance away from each other. It's kind of the 0 line. So when we get to our chord diagrams, the nut will be a good reference point for you. The strings come down here. They're coming down parallel all the way down past this hole called the sound hole. That's where the sound escapes. We go from the nut all the way down here to the bridge. The bridge is actually 2 pieces. There's this black piece of wood that's attached to the instrument called the bridge, and then this little white piece is the saddle. You think about putting a saddle on a horse, but the little white piece of plastic is the saddle on top of the bridge. So from the nut to the saddle, that is the length of the string that's vibrating. Did I forget anything? Oh, yes, I did. Look at all these little crisscross lines. Those are called frets. Those wires help mark where we need to place our fingers. We put our fingers in between the frets. So fret 1 is the space behind that first wire. Fret 2 is the space behind the second wire. And there go the cicadas buzzing in my backyard. You can tell it's warm weather. And I think that's all we need to know so far about the ukulele, the parts and pieces. Going to get to drawing it in a minute.